What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zcash today, ZEC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. It is the 27th day of October, and here we are sitting at about $364. Can you believe it? 10 hours, 26 minutes left in the day. You know, what I thought was an interesting look at this overall move that we've had is on a monthly time frame. You're up. You're up 300. You're almost up 5x this month. Crazy. Uptober is indeed a thing for Zcash. Not for anything else, just for Zcash, and maybe for Zora too. But damn, man, that is some impressive growth this month. We are obviously at prior areas of resistance here. Okay, I think that there are a lot of people rightfully probably making bets that we reject this area, right? There's probably some people that are FOMO buying right now because we have this giant W pattern, and typically once you break above this point, you do just continue to rally, right? What do I mean by a W pattern here? I'll show you, right? We've got this giant W over here. It's almost like an Adam and Eve double bottom, but it's not. It's a triple bottom. It's an Adam and Eve triple bottom. I think once you get above this point, things are really going to accelerate. I really do. I think you're going to accelerate all the way up to like $1,000 like that. It's going to happen super fast. But let's see if you do break through right now. Do you actually find resistance here at a point that you found resistance before? Do you consolidate here for a little bit and then rally? You know, that's very common, by the way. It's actually very, very common to do. But sometimes we do push through these levels, these key areas of resistance. Sometimes we do push through them, and then we consolidate on top, and then we continue to rally. So let's just see. I'm not expecting anything too dramatic to happen in the very, very short term, but over the month of November and going into the end of the year, I would expect that we do see some continued growth in respect to this move here. I don't think that it's done. Let's look at the short-term stuff. We'll look at the 1 hour time frame. We'll zoom in, and then we'll zoom back out to the daily time frame. So here on the 1 hour, you can see there is a little bit of turbulence being had. Some selling off, some buying back. Let's use something that has volume on it, right? Coinbase is good. Yeah, look at this, right? You had a good bit of volume come in as you were pumping. Not a lot of volume, I mean, still above average volume, but not a lot of volume as you're dumping in comparison. But then as you pumped here, you had less volume come in. You had a higher high with less volume, right, decaying, and then you had a lot of volume there selling off. So I do think you're probably at a consolidation. I mean, obviously, you're at a consolidation point, but something that might pull back. You could pull back to 330, and you know, I'm not trying to hurt your ears, but it is possible to pull back even to $300 or below, slightly below. You know, with these numbers, these psychological numbers, $300 is a psychological number for sure. 300, I mean, depending on the reference, they could all be psychological, I suppose, but 300 being a nice rounded number like that has psychological significance is all I mean. And sometimes you go right below that, you'll go to like 295, 296. Oh no, we've broken 300. That means that this thing's trash. No, it doesn't. It just means that that was a play on your psychology, and then we pump. I'm not saying that we do go below $300. I'm just saying if it happens, it's probably not the end of the world because you've had such a massive pump. I mean, dropping in crypto, dropping 20% after a near 5x in 1 month, that's nothing, right? Typically, even in bull market situations, we see 30 to 60% drops real quick, and then it moves up, okay? But let's just look at this here. Let's see. I'm talking about it dropping, and I don't have enough data to completely convince me that that's what's happening. However, we are moving up here, and just the lack of volume, the complete lack of volume. I think people are timid to buy here, so you might get some selling pressure, right? If you were tempted to sell back here, you're probably even more tempted right now to sell, is my thoughts, and we might get some selling pressure. All the people who've wanted to buy have bought too, so that'll add to the selling pressure if the same emotional buyers at the top, right? If you're buying up here, you're absolutely emotional. You have to be. You'd probably panic sell as well, right? If you're emotional on the buy, you might be emotional on the sell as well. 1 hour time frame, looking at the RSI, very productive, but I want to point something out, okay? When you're getting in the overbought zone like this and then you turn into rejecting it, that typically doesn't bode well, okay? Rejecting it's never fun, but especially so after you've gotten into it with such like a pronounced degree here. If we're looking at the RSI, I want to show another example of this. I mean, here we were getting into it, and then we rejected here. What happens once we rejected here? Well, that was the high, and then we went lower. Did we come back up? Absolutely we did. This is the 1 hour time frame. It didn't take more than like a day or two. But still, that was a point to reject, and we're looking at the 1 hour right now. If we look here, let's see, let's go back in time. Again, you're getting overbought right when you rejected, when you stopped getting overbought, right when you rejected. That's where the high point was and where you came down, right? Lower highs as well. I mean, to be fair, you did reject I suppose, right here. But you have a higher high. See, it's different though, because here you have a higher high. Even though you did reject, it's a higher high. It's a little bit different. You know, it's different. Where here you have lower highs, right? If we come back up to this area, I would think that we do push higher, but I don't think we will. I think we're probably gonna go lower, right? You had a positive reaction off the 50 the first time, nice. You're not really getting that here. I think we are gonna go lower. Stochastics are in a position to reject the overbought zone, and the MACD. The MACD is bullish, but you can go lower. I mean, all these indicators are bullish. You could go lower and still remain bullish. So I think that's what we do. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, a little bit of bearish divergence, but I think the move down you've seen already is enough to make that divergence complete. It's not a requirement to go any lower. Really, I feel like what we've done here is you've broken out of this kind of consolidation here, where it was like a kind of broadening top pattern. Maybe it was an ascending triangle, some kind of triangle shape there, right? I can't draw a straight line to save my life. Let's try that again, right? Make it look a little bit prettier right here. You've broken out of this with a good bit of volume too. It's hard for me to imagine that you would go back below this line here, and that line is roughly at like 285. So could you back test this line? Yes. And again, could you go below $300? Yes. Yes, you absolutely could. I know that that's a big drop, but not really. For crypto, again, that's not 24%. That's really not that big of a drop. If we were to, let's just pretend that we did pull back here. That's a nice kind of higher low in this kind of trajectory here. Let's use a straight line because I can't draw straight lines. You know, it's pretty clean. It's pretty clean right there to this level here. Back testing resistance for support. I mean, you literally did that here. You broke out, back tested resistance and support, and continue to rally. This low right here, let's see. If we put a horizontal line right there at the low, you literally back tested this resistance point right here, just above this area here, where you really started to break out, and then you continue to rally. So it might make sense. We haven't done that yet. It might make sense that you do that here. Just because it makes sense doesn't mean you have to do it. But at this point in time, I am forecasting. I want to be very clear. I am forecasting that we see something around $290. We're at $359 now, so we probably do see something around $290. Mind you, this is coming from the same person who said that we'd have a pullback here. Who here also said we'd pull back. We were expecting to go lower, but we didn't go as low as I originally thought. And well, now we're calling for another pullback here, right? To be completely fair, though, this one I think we were calling for a lower low because this looked like a double top, right? So we were calling for a lower low, but that got invalidated once we reversed here. Anyways, some kind of a pullback's coming, right? And in the respects of these moves, let's just see from a high to a low, what we've seen recently, high to a low here, and a high to a low here. If we were to put these lines up here at the high to low, I mean, the pullback that I'm calling for is not even as big as some of these other pullbacks have been, right? It's not even close. Not even close, man. Oops, not trying to do that. Let's see. Let's move this over. Something like that right there. Because yeah, that'd take us down to 270. It's not that we can't go lower, and I want to say this real quick before we move on. If Zcash does go below 285 or 280, whatever, could go all the way down to 260. You're still fine. You're still in really good positioning here. This was just a fake out, and you're consolidating further, and then you'll move up higher later. But I don't think that you're in jeopardy, really. I don't think you're in jeopardy at all of going too much below 290, but something below 300 is what I would expect. And again, if that scares you, just keep in mind the reason why I just drew all these lines here is that that's actually a very modest pullback in comparison to all these other things, and that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for anything that's gonna stop you. You've got more growth to go. Just a couple days, maybe, pull back and then move up. We're on the 4-hour time frame. Today is the 27th. If we move down in the way that I'm drawing with this kind of trajectory here, that would be the 29th that we're at the low and we start to move up. What else is on the 29th? The FOMC announcement where they cut rates. What's on the 30th? President Trump and President Xi meeting up to discuss trade negotiations, right? There's reasons to pump going into the end of this month, but just maybe right now there's a couple of reasons why you might stagnate. Euphoria is high with Zcash. Everybody, I've been looking at X.com, and people are looking to buy right now. And again, if you're buying right now, you are emotional, right? There's a whole list. I like Zcash. I'm rooting for it. Hold on. I'm rooting for it. I think that anybody investing in it now even is going to make a lot of money by the end of the cycle. I think we'll see a larger than $5,000 price, maybe even above a $10,000 price by the end of the cycle, and we'll get into that as well. But the average altcoin in comparison this month is down 12.7%. Why are you buying something that's up 400% versus buying something that's on discount? If you're buying here, you are emotional. You're not strategic. You're not tactical. You are emotional. Absolutely you are. And I've been seeing a lot of people buy here. So that euphoria is kind of, that greed is at a max level. We're probably going to shake out the weak hands. Are you actually in this for growth, or are you just in it because you think it's a nonstop party train? Test your limits, and then we'll probably move back up in a very short amount of time. I'm not expecting this to be intense at all, but if you're selling a coin that's down 12.7% this month, and then you have a coin that you're buying that's high and it drops another 20% from where you are now, that can really put the pain on. And then maybe while Zcash moves down, the other altcoins move up. That would really add to the pain there. Selling a low and then buying a high, and then it comes down, and then you're forced to buy something at a higher price with less money. That would suck. But that's what happens. That's what happens. 4-hour time frame. Everything looks great. There's a little bit of bearish divergence on each of these indicators, but nothing crazy. Again, I don't expect this move to be intimidating at all. Just short, quick, down to 290, give or take $5, $10 in either direction. If it goes lower, it's fine. I doubt it does go lower, but if it does go lower, look to like 230, maybe even 190. I doubt we go below 200, but look for those areas for support. Daily time frame, zooming out a little bit more. Here's where things get interesting. Here's where things get exciting, okay? So the daily RSI, and this is how what really makes me believe that what we're going through right now is a breakout of this little consolidation phase here. We just broke out. I don't think that we're stopping here, okay? So we could pull back, sure, for like a day or two and then move back up, but we're not stopping. This move has more to go. And again, the daily time frame, can you guys hear that plane? I think it's landing, or is it that one's taking off. That one is taking off. Anyways, I had to wait for that because it's distracting. What was I going to say? You're going to pull back. You're going to move up. Oh, yeah, the RSI. The RSI here, you had bearish divergence, okay? High, slightly lower high. This is a slightly lower high here, so that is bearish divergence right there. And then another lower high, bearish divergence, furthering that divergence, okay? So you had divergence that started here, built all the way up to here, and you did not come back down to these levels. Typically does not mean it has to be, but typically with bearish divergence, you do go back to where the divergence formed. You're so bullish that you couldn't do that. And not only that, you were projected to go down here. We were expecting that you'd go down here, but you're in this consolidation phase. The fact that you broke out of that with volume, above average volume, you're actually building in volume now, tells me that, again, this was a stopping point on a path higher. So I don't think that we consolidated here just to break out for 2 days and then that's over. No, I think we've got more to go. Stochastics have gotten back in the overbought zone. The RSI now has a higher high. The MACD just crossed green again. I think that you do have more to go, but again, a little short-term turbulence never hurt anybody. So something around 300, something around 290, 285, something in that area. That's what I'm intending. I really do expect that we get below $300 before we push too much higher. There is a scenario where we do push a little bit higher first, but I think it would work out better to just move down right now. All in all, talking about higher prices, because that's ultimately what we're getting to here, is that we are moving higher. We take the high here from last cycle on Coinbase, okay, May 2021, to the bear market low in July of 2024, high to low. Wouldn't it just be perfect to pull back to the 86? Maybe we do pull back to 270. Again, if we pull back below 285, it's really not a problem. There's so many good things to do. I just don't see us getting back into that range that we just broke out of. We already touched the 786 right here. We literally just found support like right there. Found support right at it. As we move higher, and in a matter of no time at all, I would expect that in November we do see prices that are all the way up from here, $920 at a minimum. So that's another 150% in November minimum. That's what my expectation would be. Maybe, I know it sounds crazy, but things get crazy sometimes, you guys. Maybe in November we see another 7x move all the way up to 2,700, but I think that'll be more reserved for December. I would expect something most likely between about 1,500, just above the 1414, because again, it's very common not to stop right at the 1414, but to wick above it and then come down. It's very common to do that, so that would be my expectation. So something between about 1,500 to $920, something in that range is what we're looking for going into November, ending November, something like that. And then, of course, progressively moving higher as time goes on. As we get to the end of this year and as we get to the end of the cycle, things should be a lot more dramatic. I am, and I have, like I said, expected that Zcash does go to a price of $10,000 or more by the end of the cycle. I think $5,000 or more actually is the minimum, but I am thinking that we hit $10,000. I heard Arthur Hayes threw out a $10,000 price prediction. I'm with it, man. I'm with it, because you take this high. We look at this here, high to low of this overall consolidation phase you've been in, this triple bottom pattern, which triple bottoms are very rare, but when they happen, they're very powerful. This triple bottom high to low of this pattern, the golden ratio is right there at 10K. I really very much do believe that we're going to see 10K. I don't think that we'll stop at the minimum target, but the in between there is at about 4,500. And again, typically you do go just above the 1414, so I think 5K is a good minimum. I think 10K is a good number to lean on as far as expectation goes. And what's crazy, this is crazy, we could go all the way up to $28,000 to $44,000 as well. That's my daughter. We could go all the way up to $28,000 to $44,000 as well by the end of the cycle. As crazy as that sounds, guys. I mean, not trying to compare Zcash to Bitcoin. I know a lot of people are. I wouldn't make that comparison at all. Yes, they have the same circulating supply, or total supply, I should say, the same max supply, but that doesn't mean that they're the same coins at all, and it doesn't deserve the same market cap just because of that, right? If that was the case, every coin with a $20 million or a 21 million coin supply would be pumping, but that's not the case, is it? $28,000 to $44,000 is a high number, but I want you to understand, I think that's just as possible. This is just as possible as stopping at $5,000 is. Most likely we stop at 10K. I'm very, very convinced that we stop at 10K, and in which case, from the current price, that would imply Zcash from the current price has another 26x in it by the end of the cycle. So anybody holding Zcash here, again, I think you will make money. I think you will prosper. You're going to outperform the average altcoin probably by far, but a little bit of turbulence. Pull back just below $300 and then move up. That's the expectation. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. If you were watching this video and you're thinking, man, I'm going to buy some Zcash, I hope that I talked you off the cliff, because we're up 400% this month. Most coins are down 12%. It's a no-brainer as far as, is it a good time to buy? No. And do you want to be a part of the pump? Is that why you want to buy? Yes. Okay, cool. There's nothing wrong with just being like, good job. Good job to you. You know what I mean? Good job to you way up there. Good job. Good job, because you're not a part of it, and that's okay. It's better to acknowledge that and not chase pumps and get in at a wrong time. That doesn't mean that there's not more to come. That doesn't mean that if you buy here that you're not going to make money. We just went over that. You will, but there's better opportunities out there, I think, at least as of now. This opportunity will only get better. I mean, imagine here 360, from 360 to $10,000, that is about a 27x, 28x, right? But if we were down at 290, that 28x turns into a 36x, or sorry, a 34x. That's a bit, 28x to 34x. That's a big difference. So again, I think timing here, if you really want, and that would outperform the average altcoin too. If you really want to get in on this at a good price, that's kind of out the window, but a better price than where we're at now. I think something just below 300 would be a prime FOMO buy opportunity. Anyways, I've got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Zcash is not done here, man. It's got a lot more to go. November's going to be a good month. Okay, take care. Bye.